Mr. President, these are not abstract statistics. These are lived realities. And they beg the question, if ayuda is working, why are more Filipinos continue to be hungry and poor today? AIX, May 5, tupad. Samut-sari na ang naimbentong dagdag na listahan ng mga ayuda. Iba't ibang termino rin ang nagagamit. Ngunit patuloy lamang itong naaabuso at nagagamit pampolitika.
I voted in favor of the bicameral conference committee report subject to certain reservations.
Dear colleagues, my vote is yes for the BICAM version of the 2026 national budget.
Mr. President, I want to wish everyone here a belated Merry Christmas to all of you. And before we take up official business, Mr. President, I'd just like to put on record and to this body that it was Senator J.V. Ercito's birthday a few days ago. Ganyan na lang po yan, bati na lang. Happy birthday. Mr. President, it was his birthday a few days ago, December 26 to be exact. With that, Mr. President, today is a very important day, and we thank our colleagues for being here today as we are in receipt of the bicameral conference committee report on the disagreeing votes of House Bill number 4058. This is the General Appropriations Bill for fiscal year 2026. I move, Mr. President, that we recognize as sponsor the chairperson of the Senate panel, no other than Senator Win Gatchalian, to present the highlights of the said measure. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair is done. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, as the lead conferee of the Senate panel, I have the honor of submitting for ratification a copy of the Conference Committee report on the disagreeing votes on House Bill number 4058. Here are some of the highlights of the Conference Committee report for the 2026 national budget. The first highlight belongs to education. We have stayed true to our mission to make education the biggest investment of the 2026 budget. This bicameral conference committee arrived at a total education budget of 1.35 trillion pesos. We have said this before, and we will say it again. This is a historic 4.4% of GDP. Higit sa mga numerong nakasulat sa papel, ang mga inisyatibong mabibigyan ng buhay at ang mga suliraning matutugunan ng pondong ito. Magkakaroon na ng malinaw at makabuluhang hakbang para mabawasan ang kakulangan sa mga silid-aralan. Milyong-milyong mga mag-aaral ang dumaranas ng malnutrisyon ang makikinabang sa school-based feeding program at sisiguraduhin natin ang bawat estudyante ay may sariling textbook. Second, we have strengthened the budget of health. The total health sector budget now stands at 447.6 billion. More importantly, the budget of PhilHealth has increased to 129.78 billion, posting a 15% increase relative to the HGAB level, with the additional 16.5 billion coming from the realignment of the budget of the Department of Public Works and Highways. I thank Finance Committee Vice Chairperson Senator Pia Cayetano and Senator Lauren Legarda, as well as Senator Rizzo Ontiveros, for fighting hard for this recommendation. We have also increased the funding for zero balance billing in our DOH hospitals and expanded the program to include selected local government units. Funding for specialty hospitals was also augmented, both for the procurement of essential medical equipment and the improvement of their services to the public. Mula sa ating silid-aralan at ospital, totoo naman tayo sa sektor ng agrikultura. Sa 2026, umabot na sa 214.39 billion peso para sa sektor. Ito ang pinakamataas na budget ng agrikultura sa loob ng mahigit isang dekada. Mapopondohan na ng maayos ang mga programang tutulong sa kita ng ating magsasaka at sa food security ng ating bansa, gaya ng credit insurance at direktang access sa merkado. Layunin ng budget na ito na iangat ang kalidad ng buhay ng mga taong nagdadala ng pagkain sa ating mga hapag. Maraming salamat kay Senator Kiko Pangilinan sa rekomendasyong ito. In keeping with the people-centered nature of this budget, support for social services remains strong. we have increased the funding of the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Fund to 39.8 billion, or an increase of 10.5 billion compared to the HGAB level. This includes the 4.2 billion peso realignment from the DPWH, thanks to the firm stand of your Senate to reflect the true cost of construction materials in the DPWH budget. Mr. President, these highlights illustrate our commitment to strengthening the services that carry the most significant impact on the daily lives of our fellow Filipinos. Better education for our children, adequate health care for those in need, and long-term food security for our communities. As these priorities take shape, the Bicameral Conference Committee was also very deliberate in ensuring that equal attention was given to protecting the management of public funds through safeguards that are anchored on transparency and accountability. This was evident from start to finish. All 5 days of the Bicameral Conference were live streamed, and the discussions are open to anyone who wants to view them. Transparency portals contain all budget documents. Another first is involving civil society organizations. This strengthens public oversight. Specific provisions protect public funds against abuse. For example, all infrastructure projects are now required to have station numbers and clear geographic coordinates that these projects can be tracked and verified on the ground. Where specific sectoral allotments address the needs of our people, these safeguards protect the integrity of the budget process itself. But the ultimate safeguard is our collective vigilance, the shared responsibility to ensure that every peso serves its intended purpose. What we have started this year has gone through birth pains, at sigurado akong marami pa tayong leksyon na matututunan. Numpisan na po natin ang mga reforma para sa isang bukas na proseso sa budget. Ang mahalaga ay magpatuloy, magpursige at huwag magpatinag sa dating gawi at baluktot na sistema. I would like to acknowledge and thank everyone who made this budget see the light of day. I thank our counterparts in the House of Representatives under the leadership of Speaker Boji D and Committee on Appropriations Chairperson Micaela Swansing. This was truly a collaborative effort, and I am glad that in the end, we can look back at what we have done and say that the 2026 budget is a budget that responds to the needs and aspirations of our countrymen. To my fellow Bicameral Conference Committee conferees, Senator Lauren Legarda, Senator Pia Cayetano, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, Senator J.V. Arcito, Senator Mark Villar, Senator Erwin Tulfo, Senator Camille Villar, Senator Bato de la Rosa, Senator Bongo, and Senator Aimee. Thank you for tirelessly poring over each line, scrutinizing every decision, and more importantly, constantly going back to the values of public trust and service. And finally, I would like to thank our Senate leadership, Senate President Vicente Soto III, Senate President Pro Tempore Panfilo Lacson, Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri. Your leadership by example has always been instrumental to the Senate, and your constant guidance was pivotal in crafting a budget that we can all truly be proud of. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it is truly an honor to serve this chamber with you and continue to work together. Mr. President, the comprehensive details of the reconciled version are reflected in the joint explanation of the Conference Committee on Disagreeing Votes on House Bill number 4058. With the permission of the body, I move that the said explanation be read in toto into the record, and that the Conference Committee report on the disagreeing votes on House Bill number 4058 be ratified. Thank you, Mr. President, and good afternoon, dear colleagues.
Yes, thank you. And all these are found in the Senate website. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. President, it's all of the reports, including the details, annexes, will be found in the Senate Transparency Portal, Mr. President.
Transparency portal. All right. Thank you for that. Very good. Majority
Thank you, Mr.
Leader.
President. Yes, Mr. President. Before we act on the motion of the good chairperson of the committee, several members would like to deliver the explanation of vote after we vote on
Yes,
the measure.
perhaps
It's going to
after,
be viva
so that-
voce, Mr. President. So
Yes,
I move that we approve and ratify the conference committee report on the disagreeing votes on House Bill number 4058. I so move.
Any objection? Chair is none. The Conference Committee report on the disagreeing votes on House Bill 4058 is hereby approved and ratified.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President,
Majority
we
Leader.
have 4 colleagues who wish to explain their votes. It's in this order: Senator Hercito, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcoleta, and Senator Risa Ontiveros. May we recognize
Yeah.
our distinguished Deputy Majority Floor Leader first. Mr.
Before we do that,
Yes, Mr.
just for the record, because I just received a note from the President Pro Tem, Senator Ping Lacson. He voted yes with strong reservations regarding the MAIP and the AIX, just to manifest
Yes.
that the national budget must not be a political tool and free from political exploitation. We just want to place that on record.
Okay, Mr. President.
But the
And if
vote
he
is
wants to
in
send
the
an
positive.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah.
President, he can also send a explanation of vote for the record to the Secretariat to put to
Yes,
place.
we will ask him to do that. Senator J.B. Hercito, the Assistant Deputy Majority Leader, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dear colleagues, I favor a vote to the ratification of the Bicameral Conference Committee report with reservations. My reservation arises from the steep rise in the budget allocated for the MAIFIP, which has doubled compared to the amount requested in the National Expenditure Program. I initially raised this concern through my written manifestation during the Bicameral Conference. Ayon sa Universal Healthcare Law, hindi na dapat problemahin ng pasyente ang pambayad sa pagpapaospital. Wala na siyang dapat intindihin kundi ang magpagaling. Kaya nga ang social funds ng PCSO at PAGCOR ay pinagsama na sa isang General Universal Healthcare Fund para hindi na pumila ang mga tao sa iba't ibang ahensya. Kaya ang MAIFIP, bagamat ito ay sa totoo lang nakatulong din habang isi na sa ayos ang Universal Healthcare Law, ay unti-unti na sana nating i-reallocate ang pondo sa MAIFIP para mas mabigyan ng oportunidad na mapataas ang benepisyo at coverage ng PhilHealth at masuportahan ang pag-implementa ng zero balance billing. Kumbaga, Mr. President, siguro dapat i-phase out habang naayos na ang Universal Healthcare Law, gumaganda ang benepisyo ng PhilHealth, dapat dahan-dahan na sigurong i-phase out na ang MAIFIP. Kumbaga po, ang MAIFIP ay ang exemption and not the rule. Ang focus po dapat ay hindi ang pagpapalaki ng pondo ng MAIPIF, kundi ang direktang paglagak ng pera sa mga ospital at PhilHealth. Kung ang nais po natin ay ang lubusang pagsasaayos ng ating healthcare system, dapat po nating ituring ng MAIPIF ay bilang first aid lamang. Ang patuloy na pagtaas ng pagpopondo ng MAIPIF ay isang malaking detour mula sa landas ng tinatak ng UAC. Hindi natin gusto na pumipila at tila nanlilimos para sa pagpapagamot ang ating makababayan. Ang gusto po ng UHC ay ang mga pasyente walang utang na babayarin sa ospital, walang utang na loob sa mga politiko. As we approach the 10-year mark of the implementation of the Universal Healthcare Law, it is my fervent hope that we choose and work to keep its promise that the health of the Filipino people is protected at all times and never dependent on who they know or on the availability of discretionary assistance. But despite my reservations, I gave my affirmation in light of the following, Mr. President. First, I recognize the serious and tireless effort of our hardworking Chairperson of the Committee on Finance, Senator Wing Gatchalian, to ensure a transparent and reform-oriented budget. He ensured that every stage of the budget deliberations was not only thorough but open, inclusive, and accessible to all. Kahit po Noche Buena na, gusto pa rin niyang magtrabaho. Umiiwas po ata sa mga inaanak. At gusto mamasko sa kanya. Biro lang, bro, Mr. President. Palibasa, single po at bachelor ang ating chairman ng Committee on Finance. Napakasipag po talaga. Siguro po ay kaya na natatili isa sa mga most eligible bachelor si Sen Win ay dahil sa kanyang dedikasyon sa kanyang trabaho. Yes, he is a bachelor but he is married to his passion which is public service. Lagi po siyang may date kay Inang Bayan. Second, there may be items we do not agree with, pero ganun po talaga ang realidad ng Bicameral Conference Committee. This is a process of reconciliation and compromise between two chambers. Sabi nga, we win some, we lose some. Pero simula pa lamang po, panalo na ang taong bayan dahil may win ang Senado. Our collective efforts have put forward reforms that funded our advocacy on transportation and mobility, support for our men in uniform, and the implementation of the Universal Healthcare Act, including addressing mental health concerns. Doon po sa DILG committee for which I was the subcommittee chair, maraming salamat po kay Senwin Gatchalian for giving me this opportunity to defend a big agency like the DILG. Ay para sa susunod na may magandang balita po tayo, Mr. President, para sa susunod na taon, inilagay natin ang budget ng kanilang ahensya ang mas mataas na subsistence allowance ng ating mga uniform personnel sa Bureau of Fire Protection, sa Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, and Philippine National Police at PPSC, and ating pong Philippine Coast Guard. From the current daily subsistence allowance of 150 pesos, it will now increase to 350 pesos or additional 200 pesos a day next year. Now at par with the Armed Forces of the Philippines Subsistence Allowance. Just to be clear, Mr. President, yung sinabi po na ito po ay pork barrel, hindi po totoo. Dito po mapupunta yung pong sinasabi na ay mapupunta po sa ating pong uniform personnel. Para sa ating pong mga local government units, matutugunan na ang matagal ng kakulangan sa mga fire truck at fire stations. Sa susunod na taon, Mr. President, masisiguro na wala ng bayan o lungsod na walang fire station at nakatalagang fire truck. Ito ay bahagi ng pagpapalakas ng lokal na kakayahan sa disaster response at public safety. Ikinagagalak din po natin ang pagpapataas ng pondo para sa turismo at pagbibigay ng suporta sa lokal at motorcycle tourism. Magpapasalamat tayo kay Chairman, Subcommittee Chair Senator Loren Legarda for the support. Makakatulong dito sa patuloy na pagpapasigla ng turismo at dagdag kabuhayan sa ating mga lokal na komunidad. Sa DOTR naman, Mr. President, I'm also happy to welcome the support of our intervention, which was accepted, of course, and supported by the Chair of the Committee on Finance, the continued inclusion of funding for the foreign assisted projects or the FAPs of the Department of Transportation will now be lodged, majority of which will be now lodged under the program appropriations, while likewise securing a commitment to expedite the release of its funds under the unprogrammed appropriations. This will accelerate further the implementation and timely completion of our major rail infrastructure projects, consistent with program timelines and financing agreements to avoid any additional cost to the government. Lastly, we cannot afford a reenacted national budget. It will cause a further economic downturn and slow down our progress. What we need is to boost our economic activities and increase in government spending. Spending on the right priorities, the final version of the fiscal year 2026 General Appropriations Bill will be ratified today. Though not perfect, will help our country for the meantime to keep afloat amidst drowning controversies brought about by the flood control scandal. This representation is grateful for the opportunity to help shape the people's budget for 2026. Our ratification of the 2026 national budget today is only a step towards a people-centered budget. We will continue to do our job to ensure that the budget and its implementation will be free from corruption and that the people's money will be well spent. So again, we would like to congratulate our chair, the Committee on Finance, Senator Win Gatchalian, our leadership, of course, led by Senate President Vicente Soto, for this reform-oriented people's budget. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick manifestation that, as I mentioned earlier, Senator Panfilo Lacson and Senator Francis Kiko Pangilinan would also like to, their explanation of votes be inserted into the records, Mr. President, for the two gentlemen.
Yes, we will do that.
Next to,
The reservation of Senator Pangilinan, although positive, of course, yes, he
Yes,
voted yes.
yes,
no?
yes.
He was reservations on the authorization of the DA to enter a MOA with DPWH for FMR implementation. So only DA and LGU ang proposal niya, siyempre. Okay, we'll just place it on record and his voting will, his explanation of the vote will be inserted into the records.
Thank you, Mr.
So,
President.
who's next?
Mr. President, we'd like to recognize a distinguished colleague, Senator Lauren Legarda, to give her
Senator
explanation of
Lauren
vote.
Legarda is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the outset, allow me to thank and to congratulate our chair, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, for his thoroughness, for being calm throughout all the sleepless days and nights, aside from being bright, of course, and being very patient with all of us on both camps, whether it's a House of Representatives or the Senate, and even with the staff. For that, we're very, very grateful. And allow me to say that even if I was a chair for 5 years, I learned so much from Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. I would also like to thank the Senate leadership, Senate President Tito Soto, Senate Pro Tempore, Ping Lacson, who had guided us throughout the BICAM, even if you were not physically there, so that we could come up with the best and most transparent budget possible, as well as each and every member of the chamber. It was really it was a new experience for me, even if I had been here for almost the longest time, but it was very refreshing, so to speak. Yesterday, the 28th of December, in my capacity as a member of the Senate and member of the Bicameral Conference Committee, I voted in favor of the Bicameral Conference Committee report subject to certain reservations. My reservations arise from the national government's continued failure to remit PhilHealth's actual legally mandated sin tax revenues from year 2023 onwards and statutory shares from PCSO and PAGCOR since 2019, undermining the Universal Healthcare Act, principally authored by our dear colleague Senator J.V. Ejercito and supported by all of us here, and delaying the transition to an institutionally guaranteed zero out-of-pocket care framework in public health utilities and facilities. I further emphasize that our shared responsibility does not end with the enactment of the 2026 GAA. We must continue to closely monitor and evaluate the implementation of all health programs by the Department of Health, as well as projects across all implementing agencies to ensure that approved appropriations translate into measurable outcomes and full value for public investment. Despite these reservations, I stand by the Bicameral Conference Committee report, which seeks to strengthen our human capital through sustained investments in health, education, the highest in history, I believe, agriculture, and other sectors that directly affect productivity and quality of life. It positions human development as a central driver of economic growth rather than a secondary objective. Ang paglandang ito ay hindi formalidad lamang, bagkus ito'y paninindigan na ang bawat pisong inilaan ay may malinaw na layunin at dapat maghatid ng tunay na susukat at konkretong pakinabang sa bawat pamilyang Pilipino. Thank you, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next colleague of ours who will deliver their explanation of votes is the gentleman from Tarlac and Pampanga, no other than Senator Rodante Marcoleta.
Senator Rodante Marcoleta is recognized.
Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, we're gathered today as part of our solemn duty to uplift and protect the welfare of our people by ensuring that this 2026 budget will be a million light years away from the controversial 2025 General Appropriations Act, tagged as the most corrupt, the most scandalous, and the most anomalous budget the Philippines has ever had in years. Mr. President, my no vote is anchored on concrete audit findings, fiscal patterns, and policy distortions surrounding various financial assistance programs or ayudas. I may not be part of the bicameral conference committee, but I have faithfully participated in scrutinizing critical aspects of this budget. From the committee hearings, sinamahan natin ang napakasipag nating chairman of the Finance Committee, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, hanggang sa isa lang na dito sa plenaryo ang committee report. Let me be clear at the outset, Mr. President, I voted in favor of the Senate committee report. I supported our Senate version because it reflected hours of rigorous scrutiny during committee hearings and plenary debates, where we collectively tried to correct the mistakes of the past, particularly those that plagued the 2025 budget and the corrupt and rotten system that gave birth to and proceeded from it. However, come the bicameral conference committee deliberations, tila bumalik sa dating forma ang mga alokasyon na maingat nating binantayan. I commend the move of both houses in acceding to the call of the people to have a transparent and open bicameral conference, and in giving the largest allocations to education, health, and agriculture as mandated by our Constitution. Yet despite these praiseworthy actions, it seems that we have let our guards down in deterring provisions prone to abuse and political patronage. Mr. President, I am not against helping the poor. I have always fought for them. The state has the constitutional duty to assist vulnerable sectors in pursuit of social justice. But after decades of pouring billions into short-term assistance, we cannot deny that the current system of socio-economic interventions is not lifting out our people from poverty. It is merely managing it, and poorly at that. From the start, I have repeatedly expressed my position on the proliferation of ayuda programs. No matter how noble our intentions are, Mr. President, the outcomes fall short of what we envision. After years of pouring billions into short-term assistance, the hard truth remains. The lives of our people are not improving. Worse, the number of Filipino families who consider themselves poor continue to rise. The data are unmistakable, Mr. President. The September 2025 Social Weather Station survey revealed that 50%, or at least 14.2 million Filipino families consider themselves poor, 1% higher than the 49% previously recorded just 3 months earlier. In 2024, the annual average for self-rated poor families stood at 57%, while both 2023 and 2022, the average was 48%. Even more alarming, as of November 5, 2025, about 22% of Filipino families experience involuntary hunger, going hungry with nothing to eat, at least once in the past 3 months, the highest level recorded since 1998 outside the pandemic. Mr. President, these are not abstract statistics. These are lived realities. And they beg the question, if ayuda is working, why are more Filipinos continue to be hungry and poor today? AIX, Maifif, Tupad, samut-sari na ang naimbentong dagdag na listahan ng mga ayuda. Iba't ibang termino rin ang nagagamit. Ngunit patuloy lamang itong naabuso at nagagamit pampolitika. At hindi ito haka-haka lamang, Mr. President. Ang Commission on Audit na mismo ang nagsabi, noong 2024 COA Audit Report, binatikos ang 4.157 milyong AIX disbursements na inilabas kahit kulang ang mga dokumento. Ilang DSWD field officers din ang nag-ulat ng mababang utilization rates, non-compliance sa payment schedules at weak validation ng mga beneficiaries, creating serious risks of overestimated targets and improperly screened recipients. COA further reported a duplication between AIX and ACAP, allowing multiple availments by the same beneficiaries assistance granted to above minimum wage earners and college students, repeated assistance within short periods from different offices, and the non-implementation of 168 out of 288 prior audit recommendations. Yet here we are again. The Bicameral Conference Committee has finished off with the greater budget for the ayuda programs, including an additional 4.8 billion for AIX, bringing the total to 63.9 billion. A total of 22.44 billion for TUPAD, after the Senate has deliberately reduced it to 13.08 billion, or third reading from the House proposal of 21.03 billion. The revival of MyFIF at 56.6 billion, despite the Senate's earlier attempt to shift to zero balance billing to curb politically mediated medical assistance and push genuine universal healthcare reform. And the insertion of 10 billion for the presidential assistance to farmers and fisherfolk, despite its deliberate removal under the Senate committee report. These four ayuda reforms or programs alone, now totaling 147.9 billion, are just among the many other discretionary assistance programs. The same pattern emerges in the restoration of unprogrammed appropriations. After initial assurances that these standby funds would be scaled back, the bicameral committee reversed its course and restored unprogrammed appropriations to 243.4 billion, even higher than the House-approved level, as far above the Senate's reduced version of 174.55 billion. This is recklessness. Mr. President, when we place massive increases in ayuda and standby funds side by side, a troubling picture emerges. We are expanding both the soft channels of political patronage and the fiscal backdoors that allow them to be financed, all while claiming to pursue reform and discipline. This is impunity. Mr. President, other countries show us that assistance can be productive and empowering. Vietnam, for example, focuses on livelihood-enabling support, such as boats and fuel subsidies for fisherfolk, rather than endless cash handouts that foster dependency. Yet in this bicameral report, we doubled down on unprogrammed funds and lump sum assistance instead of redirecting resources toward long-term solutions for food security, jobs, education, and healthcare systems. The Philippines can take it a notch higher by enhancing the implementation of our electricity lifeline rate. Senate Bill number 63, one of my priority bills, Mr. President, aims to exempt all households consuming 200 kilowatt hours of electricity or less. A median of about 1,750 pesos for 5.5 households will only cost the government an estimated 115 billion pesos per year. This provides for a more transparent and targeted assistance for qualified individuals. It should be pointed out that under the 2025 GAA alone, Mr. President, 194 billion worth of ayuda was set up for the beneficiaries of PORPIS, MAIP, AIX, TUPAD, and AKAP. Senate Bill 63 can lead the way for the re-evaluation of these programs in the future and hopes for lesser reliance on these unviable interventions. After deliberate consideration of this submitted bicameral conference committee report on the disagreeing provisions on House Bill 45-8, it is with heavy heart that I cast my no vote, Mr. President. I hope that my good friend Senator Sherwin Gatchalian will find it in the goodness of his heart the reasons why I am objecting to this bicameral conference report. Masakit ang loob ko na mag-object dahil kasama niyo akong nagumpisa at nagsimula sa pagbusisi nitong 2026 budget. But I stand my ground for the conviction against the chance of possible abuses of the budget. Despite all the protective measures instilled in this budget, there is the ever-present danger of loopholes in the wordings that may be exploited. An uncomfortable reminder that safeguards on the paper do not always prevent abuse in practice. Matuto na tayo sa mga multo ng kahapon. Huwag na nating bigyan ng pagkakataon na maulit ang mga anomalyang hanggang ngayon ay hindi pa napapanagutan at nagdulot ng poot sa ating mga puso. Maraming salamat, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'd like to recognize next to deliver explanation of vote, no other than Senator Risa Ontiveros, Mr. President.
Senator Risa Ontiveros is recognized.
Salamat po, Mr. President. Mr. President, bago ang lahat, ay taus-pusong pasasalamat sa ating Senate panel sa pangunguna ng ating Finance Committee Chair, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, at sa lahat ng Senate Secretariat at Senate proper staff na walang tigil na nagtrabaho nitong holiday season para sa 2026 General Appropriations Bill. Salamat din sa suporta ng ating Senate President Vicente Soto III, who stood by the Senate position during these historic open BICAM deliberations. Mr. President, dear colleagues, my vote is yes for the BICAM version of the 2026 national budget, even as I have serious reservations about unprogrammed appropriations and other issues. I believe it is possible, while registering my reservations and objections, to lend my support to the crucial reforms in this budget towards transparency and better governance, and the undeniable wins for people's health, education, and the protection of our women and children. Last year, the 2025 national budget featured zero government subsidy for PhilHealth, which is why I voted against it. The 2026 budget will begin to correct that by allocating 129.76 billion pesos to PhilHealth next year, including the 60 billion pesos wrongfully taken from PhilHealth in 2024. At sa tulong ni na Senators Sherwin Gatchalian, Loren Legarda at Pia Cayetano, naipanalo natin ang 16.5 billion pesos dagdag pondo sa serbisyo ng PhilHealth mula sa savings ng DPWH. No to bloated costs sa infra projects, lalo na sa flood control. Nagpapasalamat din tayo na isinama sa BICAM version na nagdagdag ng 1 billion pesos para sa zero balance billing ng LGU hospitals sa bawat sulok ng bansa. Dahil dito, mas maraming mga kababayan natin ang makakatanggap ng tulong mula sa mga LGU hospitals natin. The 2026 budget also features an historic budget for education, including the 6.2 billion peso increase for SUCs, which we pushed in the Senate to allow more young Filipinos to enroll in our colleges and universities. Likewise, I am happy that the 2026 budget includes the higher funding we pushed for the National Coordination Center Against Online Sexual Abuse or Exploitation of Children and Sexual Abuse or Exploitation Material, NCC o SAEC-CSAEM, for a more effective crackdown against online sexual abuse of women and children next year. Masaya din na aprobado sa BICAM ang 1 billion pesos na pondo para sa Project NOAA. Hindi man lumusot ang ating panukalang pondo sa proteksyon ng Sierra Madre, aprobado ang 565 million pesos para sa greening program and mangrove reforestation. Mr. President, the reforms we secured this year, including the open bicameral sessions and our budget transparency portal, must become the new normal. They are ingredients to push for even more transparency and accountability in the coming budget years. Sa bagong sistema, the open BICAM and other transparency reforms allow the public to better participate increases attributability of legislators in budget decisions, and begins to get rid of blind spots which enable corruption. It is very unfortunate that some of the reforms you are pushing for, including an overwhelming cut in unprogrammed funds, are not carried in this budget. Still, it is an improvement that the BICAM version includes safeguards aimed at preventing unprogrammed funds from becoming slush funds. Another was the rejection of my proposal for a provision that would have allowed the MyIFIP to support the zero balance billing program of the DOH. This is why I am pushing for my universal healthcare medical assistance program bill, which would institutionalize less lines, less uncertainty, and less red tape in our health services. My deep thanks go to SP Pro Tempore Ping Lacson for his anti-political patronage provisions so that politicians can no longer exploit assistance programs for personal gain. And I am especially grateful to our finance chair, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, who assured us that zero insertions were made during BICAM. Panghahawakan natin yan. This is what accountability looks like. Mr. President, as we ratify the BICAM version of the 2026 General Appropriations Bill, we now begin the next part of our mandate, maintaining a watchful eye on the implementation of government programs and services. We need constant vigilance to ensure the effective and honest execution of the funds we will approve today. Bilang tugon sa flood control scam at galit ng mga kababayan natin dito, nagsikap tayo sa Open BICAM Resolution, sa Blue Ribbon Committee Investigation, at sa budget reforms na ibalik ang tiwala ng sambayanan sa budget. It is the start of a new era in budget making. Tama na ang mga ghost projects, ang kapalpakan at kalokohan sa paggamit ng pera ng taong bayan. At para makamtan ito, kailangan ng pagpapatuloy at pag-institutionalize ng mga plataporma sa paglahok ng lahat ng stakeholders, simula sa Open BICAM na sinubukan natin ngayong taon. Muli, maraming salamat po sa ating Senate panel, sa ating Senate Finance Chair, at sa ating Senate leadership. Maraming salamat po. Patuloy tayong magbabantay at patuloy na magmamatsyag.
Thank you, Senator Hontiveros. Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, we recognize a distinguished colleague from Nueva Ecija and Mindanao, no other than Senator Robin Hood Padilla. Mr. President.
Senator Robin Padilla.
And Camarines Norte.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo at sa ating pinunong mayorya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ginoong Pangulo at sa ating pong mga iginagalang na senador, nagpapasalamat po ako unang-una sa ating liderato, kabilang na po sa ating Senate President Vicente Sotto, sa ating pong Senate President Pro Tempore Ping Lacson, sa ating pong Majority Leader Mig Subiri, at sa lahat po ng mga namumuno sa ating liderato, lalong-lalo na po kay Senador Win Gatchalian bilang Chair ng Finance Committee. Sa loob po ng aking 3 taon dito, masasabi ko pong siya ang pinakamagaling, pinakamahigpit, pinakamaingat at masigasig na tumayo bilang finance chairman po natin. At ako po'y nagpapasalamat sa liderato sa pagsusulong ng mga inisyatiba para sa mas malinaw at transparent na proseso ng budget ngayong taon. Taus-puso rin po ako nagpapasalamat na naipasa ang aking mga isinulong na karagdagang pondo sa NCIP, NCMF at Supreme Court para sa pagtatatag ng mga karagdagang Sharia courts na malinaw na nagpapakita ng malasakit ng Kongreso sa mga sektor na ito ng lipunan. Gayunpaman, malinaw naman po na ako po ay nasa minorya. Kaya kami po, kasama na po si Senator Marcoleta, ay bumoboto ng no sa ratifikasyon ng BICAM report para sa House Bill number 4058 o ang General Appropriation Bill. Malaki po ang paggalang at tiwala ko sa aking mga kasamahan, ngunit meron lamang po akong mga punto na nais ihayag. Una po, sa aking pong pagtantya, ay meron pa rin pong mga hindi klarong alokasyon ng pondo, lalong-lalo na po sa ayuda. At ganun din po ang pagiging Manila-centric ng budget. Ngayon po, ang Mindanao ay nakakakuha lamang po ng 15% sa buong budget. Ikalawa, bagamat naipanalo po natin sa Senado ang kapakanan ng mga katutubo, ako po'y naniniwala na kulang pa rin ang pondo para sa sektor ng mga katutubong pamayanan na lagi pong pinagmumulan ng kaguluhan, ng rebelyon at terorismo. At panghuli, nitong nakaraang Pasko, Petsa 23, lumabas pong aligasyon na di umano'y nagkaroon ng insertion ang lahat ng mga senador sa 2025 National Expenditure Program. Ang isyong ito ay naging sentro ng malawakang talakayan at nagdulot ng kawalan ng tiwala ng publiko. Dapat po nating linawin na alinsunod sa ating konstitusyon, ang proseso ng budget ay nagsisimula sa executive. Ang paghahanda ng budget o ang National Expenditure Program, na kilala rin bilang President's Budget, ay kapangyarihan ng Pangulo na ipinagkaloob ng saligang batas. Ang tungkulin at kapangyarihan ng Kongreso na binubuo ng Kamara at Senado sa paggawa ng batas para sa budget ay nagsisimula lamang matapos isubmit ng Pangulo o ng Executive ang NEP sa Kongreso, kasunod ng kanyang State of the Nation Address. Malinaw po na pagdating sa NEP, wala po dapat pangingialam ang legislation, sapagkat ito ay pawang kapangyarihan ng sangay ng executive. Hindi ko po lubos maunawaan kung paano pong naisama ang aking pangalan sa listahan ng mga di umano'y nagkaroon ng insertion sa pondo ng DPWH sa ilalim ng 2025 NEP o tinatawag ngayong Cabral's List. Ginoong Pangulo, napakasakit po nito sapagkat ako po sa panahon na yon ang presidente ng opposition party na sa kalagitnaan po ng kampanya at eleksyon ay nailagay po ang aking pangalan dito. Ito po'y napakasakit po para sa akin. Dagdag pa po rito, nariyan pa po ang agam-agam na maaari muling maiuwi sa kategory ng for later release ang malaking bahagi ng budget. Partikular na ang amyendang ating ihain sa bulwagang ito. Halimbawa po, sa ilalim po ng 2025 General Appropriations Act, nagkaroon po ako ng iba't ibang amyenda para sana sa mga proyektong makatutulong sa mga tao at lahat po yun ay nag-umpisa na magmula pa po noong 2023. Sana po, ay hindi na po ito may FLR pero ang balita po, yun daw pong mga hinog, kami po yun, yung oposisyon, yung mga hinog ay mga FLR uli. Kung ganito lang din po ang mangyayari, hindi ba't parang nasasayang lang ang paghihirap at pagsisikap natin sa deliberasyon? Ang FLR ay bahagi ng proseso, pero nagresulta ito ng pagkaantala sa agarang benepisyo para sa mga nangangailangan nating kababayan, lalong-lalo na po yung nag-umpisa ng mga proyekto. Ang deliberasyon at pag-aproba ng pambansang budget ay isang malaking responsibilidad ng legislation na hindi dapat pinababayaan. Huwag sana nating hayaan na ang reputasyon ng Senado at ng buong institusyon ng Kongreso ay masira dahil sa pagkakaroon ng mga aligasyon at kontrobersya. Kung ang mga ito ay hindi tutugunan at itatama, mababaliwala ang maraming buwan, mahabang araw at gabi na ipinuyat at ginugol ni Senator Win Gatchalian upang busisiin ang budget ng bawat ahensya ng gobyerno. Nais ko din pong kunin ang pagkakataon na ito upang ipahayag ang aking mungkahi para sa 2027 budget upang maiwasan ng anumang iskandalo. Una, marahil ay napapanahon na upang makonsidera ang pag-amyenda ng ating saligang batas. Naway maisang-alang-alang ng ating kasama, Senador Kiko Pangilinan bilang tagapangulo ng Committee on Constitutional Amendments and Revision of Codes, ang pag-update sa mga probisyon ng konstitusyon, lalo na po patungkol sa kapangyarihan ng legislation sa pag-amyenda ng budget. Baka maaring pag-aralan kung nararapat nating alisin ang kapangyarihan ng legislatura na mag-amyenda ng budget dahil nakita nating madali itong maabuso ng mga gahamang nasa pwesto o di kaya patibayin ang mga limitasyon sa kapangyarihang ito. Pangalawa, batid ko pong matagal na proseso ang pag-amyenda ng saligang batas dahil sa usapin ng voting jointly at voting separately. Kaya muli, isinusulong ko ang aking panukalang batas, ang Senate Bill 1299 o Mahiya Namang Kayo Act na naglalayong ganap ng alisin sa ekwasyon ang panghihimasok ng mga mambabatas sa pagtukoy, pagpopondo at pagpapatupad ng mga proyekto. Dahil po sa mga nabanggit na kadahilanan, ako po ay bumoto ng no sa House Bill number 4058. Hindi po ibig sabihin na baliwala lahat ang hirap ni Senator Gatchalian. Ako po'y saludo sa kanya. Ngunit, kailangan pong ibigay ko ang boto na ito para sa taong bayan. Maraming salamat po.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, may I be recognized as well to just give a short explanation of my vote?
Yes, you may do so.
Thank you, Mr. President. Unang-una, Mr. President, ako'y bumuboto ng oo, dito sa ating panukala na national budget dahil ako'y naniniwala sa ginawang mga tamang hakbang ng ating chairperson ng Committee on Finance. Hindi naman siguro, Mr. President, nasabi natin na mali mag-intervene ang isang legislator para sa kanyang bayan o para sa kanyang probinsya kung tama naman po ang advokasya at tamang paraan ang paggastos at walang kickback, Mr. President. Gagamitin ko pong halimbawa ang Bukidnon. Alam po ni Senator Gatchalian ito at mga kasamahan ko dito. Noong ako'y po'y nahalal noong 2016, yung Bukidnon was in the top 10 in terms of poverty incidences in the country. Top 10. Hiyang-hiya po ako bilang isang senador. So ano pong ginawa ko po? Ako po, under your leadership, tayo po'y nag-amenda ng ating national budget kung saan naglagay po ako ng dagdag eskwelahan sa ating probinsya. Extension campuses ng Bukidnon State University, extension campuses ng Central Mindanao University, at nagdagdag po ako ng 17 TESDA training centers, buong Bukidnon po. Because of that intervention, including the needs of the farmers, ang ginawa po namin, halos lahat ng farm to barangay roads ay sinementohan na po namin na dati sa isang barangay, Barangay Kisawa, Kibawe, Bukidnon, it used to take me a day and a half to get there. Ibig sabihin, pag lakad po namin galing sa poblasyon, walang kalsada po, akit po kami ng malapit sa Mount Kalutungan Range, dun sa amin sa Bukidnon. Dadaanan pa namin yung Pulangi River, Mr. President. Alam niyo po, pagdating ng gabi, tigil na po kami, Mr. President, sa isang purok dahil hindi pa kami makakaabot sa barangay. Ganong kalayo. Ngayon po, nalagyan po namin yan ng tulay, may karsada, at ngayon po, 20 minutes na lang, 20 minuto ang biyahe galing sa poblasyon, Kibawe, papunta ng Kisawa, which is boundary of North Cotabato, Mr. President. Because of that, the farmers are happy. Masaya po yung mga magsasaka. Sila po ay tuwan-tuwa dahil dati 2 piso kada kilo ang ginagastos po nila para sa habal-habal, yung tawag na yung Skylab. Yan yung motorsiklo po na may patungan na kanilang sako-sakong mais. Ngayon po, 20 centavos na lang po per kilo dahil truck na po ang pumapasok sa kanila. And it is verified by no other than the chairman himself. There is a COA report from Bukidnon that the farmers, 96% of the farmers are extremely happy dahil tumaas nga income nila, dahil bumaba po ang cost of delivery ng kanilang mga produkto from the town to the market centers. Mr. President, hindi naman sa pagyayabang, gusto ko lang po ilagay on the record, wala na po kami sa top 10 in terms of poverty incidences in Bukidnon. We're not even in the top 20, Mr. President, because of the interventions we did almost 10 years ago. So ang ibig po natin, at yung Bukidnon po is number 1 now. Agricultural province of the country. 7.5% GDP ang binibigay po natin in terms of agricultural growth in the national GDP for agriculture. We beat Nueva Ecija. Nueva Ecija is only 5.5%. So Bukidnon po, we produce pineapples, bananas, sugar cane, palm oil, corn, the second largest producer of corn, the second largest producer of cassava, number 1 producer of pineapples, second largest producer of sugar. Ang punto ko po, Mr. President, palagi po kami nag-usap ng aking silingan, aking kapitbahay dito sa plenaryo, si Senator Ping Lacson. I always say, basta tama po ang paggawa ng project at tama din po ang pag-amend sa batas. Ibig sabihin, ang amendment sa ating national budget, hindi po ghost, hindi po peke, hindi pong walang dokumento. Kaya po ako'y sumasaludo sa kay Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. Dahil na yun po, bago natin magawa itong amendment na ito, kailangan may barangay resolution, may municipal resolution, at pag malaking halaga, Mr. President, meron pang RDC, Regional Development Council resolution, at yung ating tinatawag na agency request. So napakahigpit po na yun, Mr. President. And then to make sure na walang kickback, so tinanggal na natin yung notion na may ghost project. Kasi ito po na yun ay talagang recorded na at hinihingi ng mga bayan na ito mga proyekto ito. Pangalawa, Mr. President, pinababa nila ang cost of production nito mga kalsadang ito. In other words, yung costing. Kasi dyan po pumapasok yung kickback, ino-overprice ng mga contractor para maibigay po kickback sa mga politiko. Kaya tama pong hakbang na ginawa po ng ating mahal na finance chairman at mga kasamahan nila dito sa Senado at sa Bicameral Conference Committee na hindi sila pumayag na ibalik yung overpriced pricing nito mga projects na ito. Dahil po dyan, matitigil po ang pagbigay ng kickback. Ginawa po yan ni Secretary Singson. Kaya ako'y believe kay Secretary Singson. He did it once. What he did was, off the top, tinanggal niya 10%, Mr. President, of all the budget items. Dahil dyan, nagsabi na mismo ang mga contractor na pag nagbigay pa kami ng kickback, wala nang project na maitatayo. Nahihiya pa sila noon, Mr. President. Kaya yan yung tama na ginawa nating hakbang. Talagang binagsak natin ang cost of production of these bridges, roads, and all these other projects para matigil na po yung kickback na yan. But properly done, Mr. President, our country deserves a chance to grow. Mindanao, Visayas, and Luzon. Properly done. That's why now, the ball is in the hands of the executive, Mr. President. To all the secretaries where the funding is going to, resist the demands of the politicians, resist the demands of the legislators to fix the bidding process. Dapat yan, maging transparent na yung bidding process para pagka ganun, Mr. President, talagang mahihirapan na ang corrupt sa ating bansa, Mr. President. So the ball now is with the executive. And I hope that these new measures that we have put in place in the budget process will be carried over in the next Congress, Mr. President. We have 2 years to go in the 20th Congress. I'm hoping, and I know while we are still there, the good Senate President, myself, the Senate President Pro Temp, the leadership of the Senate, we will make sure that this will be the new norm for the 20th Congress. Sana po pagdating sa 21st, 22nd, and 23rd Congresses, ganito pa rin ka-transparent ang gagawin nila, Mr. President. This should be the new normal for the budget process. So, mabuhay po, Mr. President. I vote in favor of the measure, and I thank the chairperson and the Bicameral Conference Committee members with their steadfast leadership to make education, because it is proven in Bukidnon, education the key factor in developing our country with the highest ever budget of over 1 trillion pesos. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Thank you, Majority Leader.
Mr. President,
What about Senator Lito Lapid?
Senator Lito Lapid may want to say a few words. okay na daw. Sabi niya,
But he votes in
no
favor.
words can explain his happiness, Mr. President.
Yes.
He is happy for the budget. So, Mr. President, with that, we already ratified, these are only explanations of votes. We move that we adjourn session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, January 26, 2026. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, the session is adjourned until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Monday, January 26, 2026.
Happy New Year, Mr. President. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year to everyone.